15.3. How does oxygen become available to animals and plants living in water and soil? Activity 5. Take some water in a glass or metal container. Heat it slowly on a tripod stand. Well, before the water begins to boil, look carefully at the inner surface of the container. Do you see tiny bubbles on the inside? These bubbles come from the air dissolved in water. When you heat the water to begin with, the air dissolved in it escapes. As you continue heating, the water itself turns into vapor and finally begins to boil. We learned in chapter 8 and 9 that the animals living in water used the dissolved oxygen in water. The organisms that live in soil also need oxygen to respire, isn't it? How do they get the air they need for respiration?
Okay, now
Active
stop. Now stop. So what happens? This activity 5, it has been told that yes, if you just have keep some water in a pan and you are just going to heat it, initially you are going to see small bubbles of water sticking on the surface. Okay, and what does this prove? This proves that yes, there is some dissolved air inside water. Okay, the oxygen can be dissolved in water. There may be carbon dioxide also, it may remain in the form of the dissolved form. So that is because of this capacity of water to dissolve some gases. That is why the living organisms are able to survive in water. Yes, Ankita, any doubt? You are raising your hands.
No, no.
Okay, so this is the experiment by which we can prove that dissolved air is present in water. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now the
Yes,
next
ma'am.
activity, it is asking that whether how can we prove that air soil contains air, because soil also there's some organisms that are present in the soil, that how they are going to breathe, the roots are present in the soil, how they are going to breathe. So does soil also contain air? How you are going to prove this activity? This activity is proving like that. Have you ever seen, you have taken some dry soil and you have taken in a pan and put some water in it? If you put some water, you will see some bubbles are coming out from that soil. What does this mean? This
I'm the,
means that, and you are adding water to that soil, the air that has been trapped in between the soil is coming out. Yes, Dipta.
I'm the water is taking the place of the air.
The water, as it is heavy, it is, yes, it is replacing the air and the air is coming out. Okay, is it clear? So in the next activity, you are going to read about that. Yes, soil also contains air in it,
Ma'am,
so
should I
that the
continue?
organisms. Yes, Devanshu, continue.
Activity 6. Take a lump of dry soil in a beaker or a glass. Add water to it and note what happens. Do you see bubbles coming out from soil? These bubbles indicate the presence of air in the soil. When the water is poured on the lump of soil, it displaces the air, which is seen in the form of bubbles. The organisms that live inside the soil and the plant's roots respire in this air. A lot a lot of burrows and holes are formed in deep soil by the animals living in the soil. These burrows also make spaces available for air to move in and out for the soil. However, when it rains heavily, water fills up all the spaces occupied by the air in the soil. In this situation, animals living in the soil have to come out of respiration. Could this be the reason why earthworms come out of the soil only during heavy rains?
So this is a very important question. Underline it. This question may come. Why do earthworm or the living organisms that are present inside the soil, living in the burrows, they comes out after a heavy rain? Why? Because of the reason, because this air has been, as the water is heavier, it will go down and take the space that has been
Of
occupied
the
by
air.
air, and as a result what will happen, they are not able to breathe because they are not able to get the air inside the soil, and now they have to come out to breathe. That is why some organisms that lives inside the soil, for example over here it may be earthworm, it may be other organisms also, they come out after heavy rain or during heavy rain. They just come out because becomes impossible for them to live inside because all that has been filled up with water. Okay, Yes,
Yes,
read
ma'am.
the last paragraph, then 15.4 Ashmita will read. Okay. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Devanshi.
Have you ever wondered why all the oxygen of atmosphere does not get used up, though a large number of organisms are consuming it? Who is refilling the oxygen in the atmosphere? Ma'am, that's what I
So,
actually
so
wonder.
actually, what is it? This is who is refilling this oxygen in the air? That is actually who? Who is refilling the oxygen in the atmosphere?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, the
the ozone.
plants.
The
Plants.
plants. The plants.
Plants.
How they are refilling?
Ma'am, by
By
inhaling
taking the
carbon
carbon
dioxide and
dioxide that we
exhaling.
exhale and then transform it into oxygen and give out oxygen.
That is what
Yes.
is that the oxygen that has been used by living organisms, whether it may be plant or it may be animal, what will be that will be less, the percentage of oxygen will be less. So what the animals and plants, due to respiration, they give out carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide along with
Ma'am is
what, along with
absorbed.
water, that the reaction takes place in the body of the plant, where the green parts of the plants, green parts means those parts having a specified pigment, that is called chlorophyll. Mainly the leaves and some green stems are having chlorophyll. So
Ma'am,
this
like the
chlorophyll
cactus.
bearing parts of the plants have a special capacity to produce food in the name of glucose. That is, they produce glucose, a type of carbohydrate. Along with that, one more byproduct occurs, one more product, that is oxygen. And by this process of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide that is very harmful is taken up by the plants, and they react the carbon dioxide with water to produce food and oxygen, and thus oxygen again come back to the atmosphere, and we are able to breathe. Not only animals but also plants and animals. Respiration takes place both in plants and animals, whereas photosynthesis only takes place by the plant. Okay, so do not cut plant. Cut, if you cut plant and the population increases, and in near future there will be problem for you to live on the surface. Yes, Ankita, any doubt? Nothing. So again, it's 40, it's about to 45, 4 minutes. I'm not going to tomorrow. Ashmita will start, and then